Bo Digital is the secret ingredient you need for success in marketing your small business. From logos and flyers to social media and videos, Bo Digital can create the marketing you need to set yourself apart. Oh, and they build websites too. Not only do they help my small business, but did you know that they help many others around Kokomo too, including Solidarity Community Credit Union, the Lindy Owsley and Chanel Cahill Real Estate Team, Hope Behavioral Services, and even the Kokomo Symphony. Let Bo build a custom plan for you today. Learn more at bowdigital.com. That's BOWE digital.com. I'm Kaylee Keith, and this is Missing Midwest, a true crime podcast about those that have gone missing. Today's story is about a young boy from a small Indiana town who went missing 68 years ago and left not a single clue behind. Okay.
Yikes. Not a single clue in Indiana, too.
Dude, I had never heard of this case. And it's wild. And it's from right here in Indiana, and I had no idea. And so I kind of went down a few rabbit holes. I actually spent kind of like way longer than I normally do researching this because I couldn't freaking find it. I was like reading obituaries of people in Florida and creeping their surviving relatives on Facebook and just going and going and going. And I was trying. It was hard to find some stuff, but I found enough to do an episode. So we'll tell the story. It's pretty interesting.
Interesting.
Announcements?
We don't really have any. It's March now.
I know a bunch of you went to the Crime Junkie tour in Indy. I was going to go. I had my Missing Midwest shirt on, and my best friend from college bought me tickets for my birthdays in March, and so she bought us tickets. We were actually the very first tour ever for Crime Junkie. She bought us tickets for it for my birthday, and COVID hit in March, and so they canceled the tour. And so she got refunded, and then 5 years later, we were going to go again. We get down there, we were eating dinner, and literally, like, out of nowhere, I got so sick. My kids, it was 7 or 8 days prior, my kids had the flu, and I bleached everything, bleached the entire house, and I didn't get it, and Johnny didn't get it, and we were so proud of ourselves for containing the stomach flu. 8 days later, I literally, TMI, started puking in a restaurant in Indianapolis 1.5 hours before Crime Junkie, and I had to drive home, and I literally cried like the whole way home. I was so sad that I was sick and couldn't go.
Meanwhile, I was at home with all 3 kids also puking.
Yeah. And then I walked in the door, and Johnny's like, I'm puking. I'm like, oh no. And so
We were supposed to record that night. And
no, we did not record.
No, we did not.
We getting through being sick with kids is rough.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Truman was a champ, though. I told Truman, I said, hey, if I get sick, because I knew it was coming, I said, if I get sick, you're the man of the house.
He did good.
He's 9.
He's 9, but he helped.
He was so sweet. He was so helpful.
He said, you took care of me last week. He said, I'll help take care of you.
Yeah.
I said, Truman, yeah, so sweet. I just need you to make sure, like, the dog gets taken out. It's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was so sad, but I heard it was really cool. I heard they did a cool case. So I know some of the fellow Missing Midwest listeners were at that. The restaurant that we went to before I was sick, everyone was wearing Crime Junkie stuff. Nice. So we all were like, oh, crime. Yeah. So I was pretty sad I didn't get to go, but I don't have anything. Merch is for sale. Subscribe, like, follow, share. Thank you. We love you. Anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. We're going to Brazil, Indiana.
I know where it is.
You do?
I feel like there's been random things that have taken me to Brazil. Maybe like a baseball tournament or something.
Oh, okay. Well, it's down by Terre Haute.
Yep.
Population 8,000.
It's over on the east side of the state, right?
$2 generals. No.
Oh, maybe I'm right.
Terre Haute is on the west.
I thought Brazil was all like on the border of Ohio, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
You have no idea. It's closer to Illinois.
There we go. Wrong city.
Wrong side of the state there. So we are going, I told you it's been 68 years, so we're going back to 1957. I would have loved to grow up in the 50s and the 60s.
I know. We watched Sandlot the other night, and she was like, I just want to live in this time.
I did. I like that time frame. Morning of August 10th, 1957, 35-year-old Florence Martin, love her name, she was cleaning up her house in Brazil, Indiana, because her husband had been away for 2 weeks training for the National Guard, and he was coming home. And so she was so excited. She was getting her house ready, and they had 3 children together, okay? This is freaking adorable. Linda Lou, who was 10.
Linda Lou.
Billy, who was 7, and Bobby, who was 4. Like, how cute is that? Linda Lou, Billy, and Bobby.
Toastadors.
And Florence and William. I love it. So earlier in that afternoon, Linda Lou asked if she could go to the carnival because the carnival was in town. And she said, yes, you can. It's 1.5 miles from the Martin home, but she's 10 years old, and that's perfectly old enough in the 50s to walk to the carnival by yourself. But the younger siblings wanted to go too, and she was like, no, no, no. My cutoff is 10, 7, and 4. You're not allowed to go. And so she said, you're too little. You can't go without an adult. So Billy and Bobby had to stay home, and they were not happy about it. And around noon, so they were playing outside, okay? Around noon, 53-year-old Harry Higgins, who was a family friend, gonna have to pay attention here, okay? There's a few little, like your red string on your map. He was a family friend, and he was dating William's sister, Elizabeth Martin.
Okay.
So they had known him for a really long time. But 6 months prior, he had just started dating Elizabeth Martin, the sister. Okay? And he had moved in with William and Florence because he was looking for work. So he was living with the Martin family at the time, dating the sister, looking for work. He's a family friend. He'd been around them their whole life, the kids, like everything, okay?
Okay. So family. He's not blood,
He's
but he's
family.
family.
He's not blood, but he's family. So Harry was in the living room watching a ball game, and he was eating lunch. Linda had made him some lunch. Or not Linda. Why did I say Linda? Florence. Made him some lunch, and he was watching the ball game on TV. Billy and Bobby came home. They were playing outside with the neighbors. So neighbors' yard, their yard. So they came back inside around 2. And Florence was ticked because Billy was covered in dirt and sand. And she didn't want him to ruin this clean house that she had just had. So she asked Harry to take Billy out onto the front porch to change his shirt. And so he did. So Harry grabbed his t-shirt, took the boys to the front porch, made Billy change his shirt. And then Harry sat down and he was reading, and the boys were playing on their tricycles in the front yard, the front sidewalk and driveway. At 3:30, Bobby came inside crying because him and Billy were running their tricycles into each other, and he got hurt and he was ticked. Yeah. And so Florence went outside to figure out what was going on, and she found Billy and Harry were both gone. Assuming that Harry had left and Billy went to play, she just continued to do her chores around the house. But after 4 p.m., Harry came back. And then he left, telling Florence that he was going to go take his car out to the farm to wash it. There was like a farm that he worked on, and he was going to wash his car. And so this Evans farm, it was owned by a 69-year-old woman named Florence Lorene Evans.
Another Florence?
Another Florence.
Okay.
And we're going to call her Lorene, though, because that's what she went by.
Because there was already another Florence.
Yeah. Lorene was she's the center of several local legends around Clay County, okay? An eccentric woman, to say the least. Lorraine owned a second-hand shop called Thrift Department Store. It was like an antique shop, which I love a good department thrift shop antique store. But it was located on National Avenue in downtown Brazil. Apparently, according to locals, she would charge like ridiculous amounts for like junk. And Lorraine claimed that the store was haunted. So she was just kind of like the town crazy lady, okay? And Harry Higgins here worked for her at her farm. She owned like 100 acres of farming property on the outskirts of Brazil in Hoosierville, Indiana. Now, on this property, there was this huge 3-story house, okay? And it's like, apparently the entire thing was painted pink, and the walls were made of glass.
What?
Inside, everything was painted like pink, red, or white, and it was filled with just junk, antique things that just like what you would imagine the town crazy lady to live in a glass house painted pink, like whatever. Lorraine also said the house was haunted, so there was like 2 small cabins on the property, so she didn't even live in the big house. She lived in one of the cabins because she said the other one was haunted. So she's just kind of like a nut job.
The haunting stops at the door, though, so you can just stay at one of the guest houses and you're fine.
I guess. And so Harry had spent several summers working at Lorraine's farm to earn extra money, and he was kind of like a drifter, and so he had worked for like different places around town. He'd worked as like a guitar player. And
this
so
is the guy that is dating
the sister.
The sister. Okay.
Yeah, he lived there. And so that's where he was at. He was at this crazy lady's farm washing his car. And around 6 p.m., he returned to the Martin home. And this time he found Florence, and she's worried, and she's looking for Billy.
Who was last seen
Yeah.
with our boy Harry here.
Yeah. And Billy he was 7. He wandered around. He went to the neighbor's house. He would go play, so whatever. So Harry told Florence that after Bobby had came inside crying, him and Billy had walked down the alley because there were some dogs down the alley, and they went to go look at these dogs. And according to him, after he returned back to the house with Billy, he left him outside to play, and that's when he went inside and told Florence that, hey, I'm going to go wash my car at the farm. And when he left, he said that Billy was playing in the road, and he said he scolded him and said, hey, get back up by the house, like, don't play in the road. And then he drove off to the farm, and he said that's the last time he saw him. And so at 1 a.m., William Martin arrived home from his National Guard training, and his wife was flipping out. She explained everything. She explained that they'd searched the neighborhood. They even went to the carnival, and they could not find Billy. And William immediately called the police and reported Billy missing.
Johnny, question for you.
Yeah.
If I was somewhere in Kokomo and it wasn't our house and it wasn't the flower shop, where would I be?
Easy. Humble home.
Yes, you're right. You guys, listen up. Humble Home is my absolute favorite place to be for so many reasons. No matter what I'm looking for, I always check Humble Home first. Clothes, shoes, toys, decor, furniture, makeup, they literally always have something that I need. They have brand name items for cheap. Their inventory is constantly changing, so it's part of my weekly routine to do a Humble Home walkthrough. You absolutely need to stop by. I promise you won't be disappointed. While it is a discount store, it's not your average discount store. It's clean, organized, and everything has its place. I get zero anxiety when I go in, unlike other discount stores. And no matter what you're shopping for, a home project, gifts, home decor, even seasonal decor, they will have it. They are open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Sunday from noon to 5. You can follow them on Facebook at Humble Home Kokomo and watch for new items every single day. And for our Lafayette, Indiana listeners, I have exciting news. They're opening a second location in Lafayette soon. As soon as I have the details, I will let you know their opening date. Get excited.
A huge search immediately started for the missing 7-year-old. He was described as 3 feet tall, 55 pounds, black hair, brown eyes, last seen wearing a brown and orange striped t-shirt and jeans and sandals. Neighbors, family, friends, volunteers, the town, everybody, they joined in on the search. They looked in fields, woods, mine shafts, ponds, everywhere. They found not one sign of Billy. They immediately turned their attention to the last person that saw Billy alive, and they brought Harry in for questioning. Now, neighbors who lived close to the Martin home, they said that the last time they saw Billy was when he was walking down the alley with Harry. According to them, when Harry came back from the walk, he was alone. When interrogated, Harry calmly relayed the exact same story he had told Florence and that he had told police. He said they walked down, they saw the dogs, they walked back home. He left him outside the Martin home playing. He again said that the last time he saw Billy was when he was playing in the road, when he was on his way to the farm. He said he scolded him, told him to get back up to the house. He said when he went to wash his car at the farm before returning to the Martin home, was the last time that he had seen Billy. That was the story, and that's what he relayed. He never changed the story. This kind of furthered investigators' suspicions, though, because the neighbors who lived in that location that apparently this scolding took place, they were outside that day, and they said they never saw this interaction. They never saw somebody yelling at a kid to get back up to the house or a kid in the road. They never saw any of that happen, and they were outside, so they think they would have seen it.
But then again, you're also that's kind of part of the daily hustle and bustle when there's a bunch of kids running around. But yeah, okay.
They did a thorough search.
I feel like my dad probably yelled at me for playing on the road a bunch of times.
They did a thorough search of Harry's car. No clues were found. It was noted that the car's exterior was very dirty, even though he had claimed that he had just washed it. But later, police concluded that it was very dusty and that the road to the Evans farm was a dusty gravel road. So they said even if he would have washed it and then driven it back, it would have had dust on it. The detectives traveled the 5 miles to the Evans farm, and they discovered wet rags in a pan and a bucket that had been used and cleaning products, something that looked like a car had just been
Verifying the car wash.
They searched the farm, including the haunted house. Nothing was found. Both Harry and Elizabeth Martin, so it would be the aunt of Billy, because it's
Yeah, the sister.
the sister of the dad,
Mhm.
who was dating Harry, submitted lie detector tests, and according to police, showed extreme deception when asked
Whoa.
about Billy's whereabouts.
Both
Both of them.
Harry and the
Look-
girlfriend, the aunt?
Yep.
Whoa.
However, despite numerous rounds of questioning, Harry maintained his innocence and stuck to the same story. The Martins also expressed their belief that Harry had spent a considerable amount of time with their children growing up, as well as Elizabeth and Elizabeth's children. They said he would never hurt kids. He would never hurt their son. With no further evidence to hold him, Harry was released. He stayed in custody for 2 weeks because it was back in the day. They didn't really have like a time frame. During the time that he was held with police, they also obviously continued to investigate like other theories and like possibilities. And they thought that maybe Billy tried to go to the carnival, which seems totally fair to me. Like he wanted to go. He was totally
His
couldn't
sister
go.
went, yeah.
Nobody. They questioned a whole bunch of people. Okay, this was like a traveling carnival, patrons and employees, but nobody had seen this little boy at the place. They did learn, though, that 3 of the carnival employees had left town the night that Billy went missing. One of those employees had been accused of inappropriately touching children when he was buckling them into rides. Apparently, this same worker had been accused of a similar act just 2 weeks prior in a neighboring town that the carnival had been set up
So
in.
where the heck is this guy now?
He disappeared the night Billy disappeared.
But then they weren't able to track him down.
They never were able to locate him.
I was hoping you were gonna say he went to like the next circus or the next
No.
carnival.
They never found him.
Man.
10 days after Billy went missing, investigators received a tip from a woman named Ollie Abner. And Ollie, I love the names in this story. Like the 50s and 60s names are getting me. Ollie called police because she saw 2 men carrying what appeared to her to be a sagging object wrapped in a blood-stained quilt.
That's not good.
Red flag. Call the
Report
police.
that every
Yes,
time.
Call the police if you see this. Towards a lake, also red flag, near her home. She sent her husband and her son to investigate. She's like, you guys need to go look at that. 15 feet from the water's edge, her husband and son found the quilt that she had described seeing, and the lake was dragged. However, no sign of Billy was found.
Did the quilt have blood on it?
It didn't say.
Okay, because she kind of mentioned.
Is that she said it looked bloodstained, or
Okay.
she saw it, and they found the quilt, but they didn't say if it actually had blood on it. Around the same time, a member of the volunteer search party discovered what looked to be a freshly dug grave under an abandoned house near the Martin home. But they went and they looked through the entire house. They dug it up. Nothing.
Man.
In December, a new lead came through, a good one, okay? Police in Brighton, Colorado arrested 27-year-old Billy Stevens, a former carnival worker, after he escaped from the local mental institution,
Man.
broke into a woman's home, and stole her lingerie and perfume. When Stevens was taken into custody, they found a newspaper clipping in his pocket featuring Billy Martin missing from Brazil, Indiana. Billy Stevens claimed that the reason he saved that newspaper clipping was because on the opposite side, like flip it over, there was a story about a rodeo, and he was saving it for the rodeo, not for the missing person on the other side.
Sketchy.
So sketchy. Stevens admitted to working at a carnival in Indiana in August, but he had never been to Brazil. He suffered from severe schizophrenia, they said. He was brought back to Indiana, questioned multiple times, admitted to killing Billy in the woods near the carnival, and then quickly said, no, never mind. And they actually were determined, they were able to be like, yeah, this guy's crazy.
Man.
Like, nuts. He didn't do it.
I mean, I would say, like, I don't know how consistent the, like, theft and stealing a lady's underwear is with, like,
That's what
kidnapping.
my thing. Like, okay, you're either trying to get a woman's lingerie or a little boy. Those are 2 vastly different
That's what I'm
things.
saying.
I don't
Yeah.
know. All clues began to dwindle. The interest began to dwindle. It was front page news for a long time, but it ended up just kind of like going by the wayside. Nobody really cared, and nobody ever saw anything. For more than a year, the Martin family held on hope that Billy would someday return. On the first anniversary of his disappearance, Billy's grandfather attended the local carnival every day hoping to catch a glimpse of his grandson, who he thought may have ran away to join the circus.
Man.
That Christmas, William and Florence were still convinced that he could walk through the door at any time, and so they bought presents and wrapped them for Billy and put them under the tree. Florence said when Christmas morning came and he didn't come home, she knew he was dead.
Oh.
Florence passed away in 1993 at the age of 71, and William in 1998 at the age of 80. Billy was never found, but they put a gravestone with his name along with the inscription that says missing but not forgotten. It's in the Calcutta Cemetery in Brazil between his mom and dad's gravestones. Robert Martin, remember Bob, the 4-year-old, he continues to hope that one day they will find out what happened to his brother. I just looked at him on Facebook. He posts constantly about his missing brother.
Man.
To this day.
And you're talking, what, 70 years at this point?
Like, Bob is on Facebook. He lives down there in the same area.
I mean, he's got to be in his 70s.
He's old. He's an old man, yeah, for sure. And he posts pictures of his brother and says, like, my brother went missing. Like, we don't know where he is, looking for, like, answers.
Man.
Are you ready to upgrade to the home that fits your family best? Take the first step of that process by giving my girl Stacy Westfall a call. She's partnered with Apple Tree Realty in Howard County, where they have the knowledge and resources to help you reach your goals. Stacy has quickly become a successful realtor in our area, and I am so proud of her. She's not just a friend of mine, she's also a mother and a local firefighter. Buying and selling a house is stressful, and having someone professional and trustworthy in your corner can make all the difference. Give Stacy a call today at 765-461-1243 and follow her on Facebook at Stacy Westfall Realtor. So Billy's case, this is where it's kind of just the town rumors. It's a source of several urban legends in Clay County. Like I said, we had the crazy lady and then all of this stuff. So one legend claims that Billy was buried underneath the Meridian Elementary School.
Yikes.
Apparently at the time of his disappearance, they were building the elementary school, and then now he haunts the school. And there's like several stories of people seeing like a little boy's ghost in the school. And then in like this really weird like twist, in 2010, they were digging on the north side of the elementary school for a new air conditioning unit when they found bones. Like 3 to 4 feet under the concrete, they found bones, and they tested it, and they said it was from an animal.
I mean, that's
like,
sketchy.
Creepy.
Yeah, that's sketchy.
Like, where did this random rumor come from, and then you find bones? Like, that's weird. There was also a lot of rumors about Lorraine and her creepy property.
She sounds like she's just going to be...
Those stood the test of time in Brazil.
Everything.
Apparently, according to one legend, they said Billy's body was in Lorraine's main house in an old trunk. And Lorraine was actually killed in 1967 in a car accident. And she left her entire estate to the local hospital, which I could not find anything like validating that. I could not even find Lorraine's obituary. Like, honestly, I'm going to post this episode, and I joined the Brazil. Every town has like the Kokomo chatter, the Brazil chatter. It's where you can get all the good stories. I'm going to post this in there, and if anybody has any information on this, I want to know it. Like, I want the town tea from Brazil, because I really couldn't find much. But apparently, they say that she left her entire estate to the local hospital, and like according to this like local legend ghost story, the trunk, that is what Billy was in, and it was sold or lost during the auction of Lorraine's belongings. Others believe that Lorraine unknowingly took the trunk to her thrift store to be sold. However, when she died, the trunk, they basically went in and just threw all of her junk away, because it was just junk that she was trying to sell out of the store. And they threw it all away, and he was in one of those. Now, how did he get in one of the trunks in Lorraine's property? I have no idea. Apparently, the building that the shop was in still is there today, and it's also known to be haunted. Another weird twist, in 1968, Lorraine's home was sold, and apparently they found sawed up bones in jars in her basement.
Gross.
And they were
crazy lady.
determined to be animal bones. I don't know if that's true either. It's just what I read online. Not everything you read online is true, but that is what I found on multiple articles and stuff associated with this case. And so, obviously, most small town mysteries aren't true. Some of them can be, though. Some of them, many rumors are started with weird stories like that. And so, probably unlikely, but maybe there is I mean, obviously there's a solution to what happened to Billy somewhere.
Somebody
Someone knows
something.
something in Brazil. Someone knows something in Brazil, and I want to know what you guys know. So
I mean, the traveling carnival is what.
from what I see online, the traveling carnival guy is mostly like, apparently these people were working at the carnival and just up and left. One of which was the creepy guy that got found in Colorado. So I don't know. I think that most everything online is leaning toward Harry, which I couldn't find his obituary either. And most people lean toward the carnival. So
I would say, based on everything you said, I lean towards the carnival.
yeah.
But that crazy lady
Harry
is
creeps me
super
out, though.
crazy.
I mean, we just did a case on Murdered Midwest about pedophiles and, with little boys, like inserting yourself in their life, moving in with the family. He just saw him. He took his shirt off on the porch. His mom asked him to change his shirt. Maybe he saw an opportunity. Maybe he'd been waiting for an opportunity. And
They also said, the family said that they don't think it was. I mean,
A lot of
you
families
wouldn't
say that.
True.
a lot of families say that. It's always a family friend, honestly. It's always a family friend. It's always a pastor. It's always who you would least expect it to be. You've got to be careful with who you expose your kids to, because I'm telling you, people are nuts. So I don't know. Maybe it was Harry. Maybe it was a creepy carnival worker. Maybe it was the crazy town lady. I don't know.
Man, somebody knows something. Unfortunately, when you have a case 70 years ago, that person may not be around anymore.
I know. That's what sucks. But it just broke my heart that his brother is still like searching.
Respect.
I feel like somebody knows, though. Like somebody talked at some point. So
Maybe. If you like Missing Midwest, you will love Murdered Midwest. For just $5 a month, you can get access to an extra episode each week, plus over 50 backlogged episodes. Subscribe using the link in the show notes. This podcast is a So.Will.I.Studos production. So will I.
Did you know the Jefferson House of Flowers has been a local Kokomo florist for almost 100 years? Our trained designers make beautiful arrangements for literally any occasion. You can send flowers for any reason. Birthdays, anniversaries, get well, congratulations. The list goes on. We make flowers for funerals, weddings, proposals, and even proms. Let's be honest. Receiving flowers, whether you're at home or at your work, it makes you feel special. You get butterflies and you feel loved, and that's what sending flowers is all about, the feeling it creates. Call us at 765-452-8269 and let us create something special and send it out for you. Or you can stop in and see us at 4300 West, 100 North Kokomo. We always have a cooler full of flowers that are ready to go, as well as a boutique full of gifts. Shop local, support local, and send flowers.